Rock just lost one of its brightest cosmic wanderers. Ace Frehley, the original Spaceman and founding guitarist of Kiss, has died at the age of 74, leaving behind a crater-sized void that no amount of pyro, paint, or power chords could ever fill. Now, the news was confirmed in a heartbreaking statement from his family, who wrote, "We are completely devastated and heartbroken. In his final moments, we were fortunate enough to have been able to surround him with loving, caring, peaceful words, thoughts, prayers, and intentions as he left this earth. We cherish all of his finest memories, his laughter, and celebrate his strengths and kindness that he bestowed upon others. The magnitude of his passing is of epic proportions and beyond comprehension, reflecting on all of his incredible life achievements. Ace's memory will continue to live on forever." Now, it's the kind of message that hits like feedback from a broken amp, raw, reverberating, impossible to silence, because Ace wasn't just a guitarist, he was very much the guitarist to a lot of people for a very long time. The lightning bolt in Kiss's four-man constellation, if you will, the wild card. It one that made interstellar glam rock feel like religion. Now, news of Ace's condition had been swirling around for weeks at this point. The 74-year-old legend reportedly suffered a serious fall in his home studio several weeks ago, resulting in a brain bleed that led him to be hospitalised and put on life support. Now, initial reports downplayed the severity of this. His camp even reassured fans via Instagram that he is fine, though under doctor's orders to refrain from travel. But behind the scenes, things took a darker turn. Frehley's condition deteriorated, and despite every effort, he never fully recovered. As of October 16, the family made the agonising decision to let their spaceman drift peacefully into the great beyond, and it's the kind of ending that feels cosmic in its cruelty. A man who once soared on rocket riffs, now silenced by gravity. Now, when Ace Frehley strapped on his guitar in the early 70s, he didn't just join a band so much as he joined a mythos. Alongside Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons, and Peter Criss, Frehley helped turn Kiss into the most gloriously over-the-top rock spectacle in history. He wasn't the loudest voice in the room, however, not with Simmons breathing fire and Stanley in full peacock mode all the time. But that said, his guitar work certainly spoke volumes. It screeched and shimmered and ascended in songs like Shock Me, Cold Gin, and even Rocket Ride, which didn't just rock, they very much launched him and them into incredible heights. His playing was interstellar, equal parts swagger and science fiction, always on the brink of chaos and cosmic clarity. And that persona, the spaceman, wasn't just an act, it was an extension of who he was. He was otherworldly, erratic, but always electric. Now, when he left Kiss in 1982, he didn't just crash land, he went solo, forming Frehley's Comet and proving he could orbit on his own power. From his self-titled debut in 1978 to later albums like Anomaly and Spaceman, Ace Frehley carved out a catalogue that fused space-age fantasy with gritty, boots-on-the-stage authenticity. Every note he played carried the DNA of rebellion. In 1996, when Kiss reunited for their world-conquering comeback, Frehley stepped back into his silver boots like no time had passed. Fans, of course, celebrated this. The makeup returned, the pyro lit the sky, and for a while the universe seemed to make sense again. That reunion was more than nostalgia, it was a redemption. A reminder that even after years of infighting, addiction, and near misses, Ace was still the pulse of the band. His solos during that tour weren't just performances, they were very much resurrection rituals. And by the time he bowed out again in 2002, the mythology was sealed. Ace Frehley wasn't just a founding member, he was Kiss's soul to a lot of people. He had this chaotic, unpredictable spirit that kept the spectacle human. So, in later years, Ace embraced the legacy but never became a prisoner of it. He toured relentlessly, released solo albums that hit Billboard charts, and even reconciled, well, sort of reconciled with his old bandmates. He'd joke about aliens, drink coffee instead of Jack, and talk about how much he still loved playing live. Now, behind the eyeliner and the explosions, there was always something disarmingly real about Ace Frehley. He was messy, honest, he was basically his own authentic self, and that's what made him loved not just by fans who grew up air guitaring to Destroyer, but by generations of musicians who picked up six strings because Ace made it look like it was fun and like it was a salvation. So his story is very much wrapped up in rock mythology, which is distilled to its rawest truth. A kid from the Bronx who painted stars on his face and became one. But he wasn't perfect. He was volatile, defiant, unfiltered, but that's why he mattered to a lot of people. Rock and roll had always belonged to the imperfect, and Ace Frehley was exactly that. From the first explosion of feedback in Juice to his final encore, Ace's guitar tone felt like the sound of rebellion itself, that shimmering blend of distortion and destiny that could shake arenas and still sound like it was coming from your neighbour's garage. He played like a man chasing the edge of gravity, and now maybe he's finally found it. It's very much hard not to feel gutted by this one. Yeah, we've lost a lot of rock icons in recent years, namely Ozzy earlier this year, but Ace Frehley's passing, it hits a little bit different, perhaps because he embodied that spark, that childlike wonder that made us all want to paint our faces, crank the volume, and believe in something louder than life. Thankfully, and you'll feel some solace in this, that the Spaceman has returned to the stars. But somewhere out there between the sound waves and satellites, his guitar's still echoing. And if you listen closely enough, in that split second between silence and distortion, you'll hear him laughing. Rest in power, Ace Frehley. The cosmos just got louder.